Hey everybody, John Osborne here. Today is May 8th, 2017, and let's go ahead and do the FX Educational Outlook. First, I've noticed a few of our markets since non-farm payroll last week have been not as moving forward as or up as they were. So the bullishness in some of the pairs that we were watching has waned a little bit, but we're still moving higher. And you can see we've got the pound yen is still moving up on that break that we saw of this trend line a little while back. So that was a few weeks back now, and we are above these resistance lines that we've been watching, and we're now moving up towards the 148.447. So this one is one that's continuing to go higher in spite of the movement that the pullback that we saw after non-farm payroll. I want to keep in mind this 148.447 resistance here, which is the beginning of the weekly line, and we're coming up to it. So keep an eye on that as we continue to move higher. For the Swissy yen, we are still moving up, still breaking above this weekly trend line that we have here, and we went up and almost perfectly yesterday, or pretty much to the tick, went up and touched the 114.300. Let's see how close we got to that. Get to 114.206, and that's pretty close. And so that one actually bouncing off a little bit, and that gives us a potential entry opportunity if it moves up through there again to move on up to 115.529. We also have this trend line that's coming down off a couple of the peaks that we saw on its way down, so we can watch that one for a break to go higher, and that would be right around 113.675 or so. But keep in mind we want to get above that 114.300, so keep that one in mind when you want to enter that, even if we can break above this trend line here. Now the bearish side, we got a little bit stronger here, and you can see on the weekly we broke through this support trend line here on the weekly, and we came back and pulled up through it a little bit again, so you can see it almost magnified here on the daily. So let's see what happens here. We're still seeing some good bearishness momentum on our MACD, and we will expect to see it potentially drop lower. And a good potential entry is to use this trend line that's right here. If we can get below this trend line through the next session or two, then we could resume our downtrend. But be careful with the bullishness that's starting to appear on the smaller time frames, but we're still looking quite strongly bearish on our daily and our weekly. For the Aussie US dollar, you can see that we've been moving inside of this larger weekly pennant, and we were kind of watching for a break at the 0.72862, which was roughly where this break point is on this line. Now we can move that up just a hair maybe, but it's about the same now. And you can see we are putting in a bit of a consolidation channel here that we can see, and we can watch that from 0.73672 on up to 0.74256. So we're still looking for more bearishness based on the way that our MACD is looking. But we want to keep in mind the bottom of this pennant pattern here that we have on the weekly, and you can see it here on the monthly as well. Now still we've been monitoring in the consolidation patterns here. Was the first one was the Aussie Loonie, and we were looking for a break below 1.01263, and we got that. So now we've gone back up. We broke through it a little bit, or maybe pulled up above it before it broke through, but right now we're going up and retesting that broken support line, which is now resistance on the daily. So let's keep an eye on that one and see if it can make a move to go lower. What we might see is another little jump up, and if that gives us that jump up again, then we might have an opportunity to run a trend line and see if we can break that trend line. But we're about to, I think I'm just going to go ahead and move this one up into our bearish area here so we can monitor this one as a potential bearish trade. But one that is still consolidating is the Euro Pound, and you can see that we're still in this bit of a consolidation pattern here. Now we've got this pennant pattern drawn in here, but in reality we are really watching for the break below these lows here. So I'm going to be watching for a break below 0.84046 for a potential move lower. And the big one that we want to keep an eye on is on this weekly here. It's 0.83039 in this pennant pattern. So we're consolidating as long as we stay within here. Even though we've broken through this longer term trend line here, I'd like to see us break below that 0.83039 to confirm. And that'll do it for today.